players on the team are fearful that DJ Durkin will be reinstated as head coach of the Maryland Terrapins. And so I just want to get your guys' opinion and thoughts on that because, people make arguments that, there are different coaching styles. People have different coaching philosophies. So what are your thoughts on the possibility that DJ Durkin might come back as the Maryland Terrapins head coach?
I think those parents have valid concerns. He clearly didn't have player safety at the forefront, but at the same time, there are only so many things you can control. But if I were a parent of a student playing on his team, I don't think I'd want him back.
Okay. What about you, BB?
I'd second that.
Oh, that's it. Just you don't want him back. You wouldn't want your kid playing for him. Do you think he deserves a shot with, if not Maryland, some other team? Or do you think he should be done?
I mean, you can entertain, definitely see, what options to him are available. And, weigh it out based on that, but...
So you think he should be given another chance to be a coach? Maybe not necessarily a head coach right away, but on a coaching staff.
Yeah, I mean...
It's a difficult thing to answer.
Yeah.
But I do have my answer. I just want to hear what you think first about should he be afforded an opportunity to coach again.
As a head coach?
Well, as any coach. It doesn't have to be a head coach. It can be special teams coach. It can be offensive, defensive coordinator. It can be wide receivers coach. Whatever it is.
I mean, if he's qualified, then yeah, but
okay.
Either way.
So, what do you think, Dan O'Shea? Should he be allowed to coach again, or should the NCAA say, no, you're done?
Does he have any other kind of history of player safety issues?
Apparently there were a lot of complaints about him. Nothing as serious, obviously, as a athlete dying.
Mm-hmm.
But not that I'm aware of does he have many player safety issues that have come up.
Okay.
While you're thinking about that, Tony said, "Doing well, gentlemen, and I invite anyone to talk smack in the chat during the show. P.S. Dan O can go F himself as well." I heard that. Tony said, "I'm surprised Durkin still has a job considering someone died. He should never run a program again. He could work for some, but never the head. Ever."
Yeah, I think that's where I was kind of going, was I don't think he should ever head coach again, but for him to, be unable to find employment ever again, assuming this was, more of a not knowing something would happen rather than knowing something might happen and not caring. So it's kind of, it's like, do people deserve second chances? And, if this was a honest mistake, then yes, if it was just completely him disregarding any kind of safety because he, only cared about winning, then
he can go work at
Wendy's.
Wendy's.
Because that's not really a mistake at that point.
I'll say coaching, no, but, of course, he has to be employed, so, yeah, he's got to find another job.
So here's my thoughts on it. I am all for giving people second chances if they're deserving. And there are two different scenarios in which a football player theoretically could die either during a game or in practice. The first being they have a heart condition, lung condition, whatever it might be, they push themselves harder than they probably should have, and the player collapses, and unfortunately they die. That's happened in many sports. All right. There's also neglect, which is what happened with DJ Durkin. All right. It is unforgivable what he did to the point where one of his athletes, one of the kids that he is responsible for, died because of his stupidity.
I don't think he should be around coaching ever again.
I don't think he should be allowed to coach, not in the NCAA, maybe in the NFL,
no,
where they're adults.
I wouldn't, because like wherever he would end up, I don't think he could be a good influence. Like, regardless, he wouldn't be a good vibe anywheres.
Certainly not with anyone under the age of 18.
Well, even working for anybody else, I don't think he brings much.
I mean, he obviously has a great mind for football, or he wouldn't be the head coach of a major program in Division I. That being said, there are plenty of positions with schools, with teams, that don't require him to be a coach. He could be a scout. He could be an analyst. He doesn't deserve to be a coach. No. He shouldn't be a coach. He lost that privilege when that kid lost his life.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, usually I'm pretty forgiving, but not when you kill a kid, man.
No.
Not when you've got that blood on your hands because of stupid mistakes that you've made. And I shouldn't even use the word mistake, because of your negligence.
Right.
That's just my thoughts. Tony said, I could see a position coach, but like BB said, he called you Bebby, actually. I don't think he will get much respect. And he shouldn't. Like, the guy's a grade A asshole. A lot of the players had concerns about him being the coach, and it wasn't unfounded. One of his athletes died. All right, so as far as I'm concerned, Durkin's time in football is over.
Yep.
And the NCAA will be a better place because of it.
Yep.
That being said, there is a lot more to talk about in college football than what we just talked about. So let's turn our attention to me complaining about Penn State. All right.
Yes. There it is.
Oh, God, this team is just so frustrating.
Witnessed it live.
So frustrating. I'm not comfortable with Penn State playing with a lead because they're just going to blow it. It's happened 3 times already this season. They had a fourth quarter lead against Appalachian State, got taken to overtime, and barely won. They had a fourth quarter lead against Ohio State. They blew it, and they lost. They had a fourth quarter lead against Michigan State. They blew it, and they lost. Last season, they had a big fourth quarter lead against Ohio State. They blew it, and they lost. And they had a fourth quarter lead against Michigan State. They blew it, and they lost. Anyone else seeing a pattern?
Hey, you should move to the Big 12.
Probably.
You play defense?
Jesus, man, I think Penn State could wreck in the Big 12.
Yeah. You still want to play defense, but you probably would.
Oh, yeah, no. You wouldn't even try to play defense in the Big 12. Like, I'm pretty sure their corners and safeties are literally just wide receivers. That's
Nick, so do what you got.
It's what it is, exactly. So, I said it not last week, 2 weeks ago when Penn State played Ohio State. The episode after that game, I said I lost all faith in James Franklin, and I have again. Like, what is going on with this play calling? All right, Michigan State is the stingiest team against the run. Penn State had success running against Michigan State. Michigan State is also absolute dog shit against the pass.
Mm-hmm.
Why didn't you fucking throw the ball?
Good question.
Why?
Because we watched the whole game and
Seriously. Like, the announcers were saying the whole time, the entire game basically, this Michigan State team really sucks against the pass. But all Penn State wants to do is run the ball. Like, I get it. You don't have the wide receivers you had last year. KJ Hamler is hurt and playing hurt. And your quote-unquote star wide receiver, Juwan Johnson, just isn't playing football at the level you expected him to.
No.
But still, this team is garbage against the pass. And yet, all you want to do is run it. And the defense, yes, they had opportunities to put the game away late. A couple dropped interceptions. But they're corners. If they could catch, they'd be wide receivers. Like, you can't rely on your corner getting an interception to win a game. You need to have the players in place. You need to have your coaches make sure that the best possible call is out there and that the best player to execute that call is on the field. And I feel like Penn State coaching is doing neither of those. Not on offense, not on defense.
Doesn't look like it.
It's just not happening. And Tony, yes, I wish you were here to bask in my pain too. But guess what? Not going to feel this pain for long because we're going to talk about the Cowboys a little bit later.
There you go.
All right? Tell me about how your Giants are doing.
But as far as your college football teams, you were actually hinting as to a new favorite team. Have you given that much thought?
Absolutely not.
You were entertaining Alabama, so they're doing pretty good.
Yeah. Obviously, that was a joke. During my anger, I was like, maybe I should just...
of the college football?
Yeah, so Dan said that while we were watching, said maybe I should look for a different favorite team.
No, actually,
or was it Christine?
Your wife said that.
Yeah, Christine said maybe I should look for a different team. I said, well, there's this team in Alabama that's pretty good. Oh, man. But they're basically just the Patriots of college football. And Dan O'Shea found an article explaining so. We're not going to bore you with the details because it's really fucking boring. It's one of them TLDR articles. Too long, didn't read.
Yeah.
I love football. I pretty much eat, sleep, and breathe college football. But fuck if I'm reading that.
Yeah. Give it a quick skim, maybe.
I read like the first two paragraphs and I'm like, how long does this go? I do not care much about the 2006 Alabama team that won 4 games.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care.
Are they going to boom or bust? That's all I need to know.
Oh, man. And Tony said, Giants are my penance for the Red Sox and Ohio State success. I have now come to accept it. Well, I'm glad you found your NFL nirvana there, Tony. I'm glad you found your peace.
But you know what, too? I mean, granted that we didn't see what was going to happen Sunday with the Cowboys, that I said, well, you know what? Don't feel too bad because I'm sure USC is going to get the shit stomped out of them tonight.
Oh, I'm about to talk about that. All right.
I'll go any farther.
Ohio State was playing a tough game against Minnesota for the first 3.5 quarters.
Yeah. Basically,
3.5 quarters, Minnesota was looking like they belonged on the same field as Ohio State.
Mm-hmm.
But Ohio State ended up winning. Oregon had an absolute crazy game against Washington. Went to overtime, and Oregon ended up winning. Penn State lost. Penn State lost, assholes. And so I said to Dan, I said, you watch. USC is going to beat Colorado now just so I'm the one of 4 of us whose college team lost. And not only did Penn State lose on a last-second field goal, UAlbany lost on a last-second field goal. So both of my college football teams lost. Jesus. This is why I love college football so much. Because it makes me hate it. I know that makes no sense, but it does to me. So anyways, college football, we're going to run through the scores to the top 25 games. 1 or 2 may get skipped. Penn State, Michigan State.